group, we would like to present our material today, namely semantic analysis of dialogue in movie and dialogue passengers and guests, using locution, illocution, and collocution as the part of speech act. And for the first presenter, it will be Fatriyah, and then the second presenter is Rifqy, and for the last presenter is me. So for the first presenter, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, here I would like to explain about locution and illocution first. For the first point is locution. Locution speech is speech to express something. This method is often referred to as day of saying something. From Ibrahim said that in this speech a series of language sounds are produced, meaning something. Furthermore, we understand that speech acts are relatively the easiest to identify because their identification tends to be done without including the context of the speech. And then illocution. Illocutionary act are speech acts that contain intent and speech power. Illocutionary acts are not easily identified because illocutionary acts are related to who is speaking to whom and when and what the speech acts are performed. For example, as Fatriyah said, that this includes illocutionary act is an essential part of understanding speech act. And illocution, there are 5 categories. For the first category is declaration. Declaration are those kind of speech act that change the world via their utterance, such as I bet, I resign, and these short sentences used to 10 years. The second is representative. Representatives are those kind of speech act that state what the speaker believes to be the case or not, such as describing, claiming, and insisting, and others. The third is expressive. Expressive are those kind of speech act that state what the speaker feels, such as apologizing, praising, congratulating, and regretting. The fourth is directives. Directives are those kind of speech act that speaker used to get someone else to do something. For example, like as illustrated below, that can be positive or negative. And the last is commissives. Commissives are those kind of speech act that speakers use to commit themselves to some future action. They express what the speaker intends. They are promises, threats, refusals, and pledges. Some instance below that can be performed by the speaker alone or by the speaker as a member of a group. And maybe that's it from me. And from the next, I give to the moderator.
Thank you very much for the first presenters, and then we move to the next presenters. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for the time today. I will explain about provocation. The act of provocation is known as the act of affecting someone. Speech uttered by speaker often has an effect or power of influence. For those who listen to it, we understand this effect or power of influence can occur because the speaker intentionally or unintentionally creates it. Speech acts whose utterance are intended to influence the interlocutor are called perlocution acts. Aristotle stated that perlocution speech acts are speech acts whose users is intent to influence speech partners. Meanwhile, Tarigan states that utterances uttered by speakers are not only word events that occur by themselves, but are utterances to contain specific aims and objective design to produce effect or consequence or the environment of speech partners or listeners. According to Lead, the contrast between perlocution, and other speech act categories have typically been illustrated by list of verb and verb-like expressions. For example, locutionary report, announce, predict, admit, opine, X, befriend, and others. From the definition that was explained before, we can get conclusions that the understanding of the person is word that contains a meaning. I doesn't have to be command or an order that to the answer or do. It could be a statement or an opinion for the understanding of elocutions alone. Refers to a word that contains meaning to influence the hearer. Elocutions means an implied meaning that exists in a word that is meant to be understood by the hearer, so the listener can be affected by doing something or thinking about something. Elocution could be a statement, an order, a promise, and describing, whereas for the elocution itself refers to a thing done by the hearer of a phrase uttered by the speaker that result in its being effect and doing the thing of the phrase present by the speaker. I think that's it for me. Thank you. As I say, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for the second speaker. And now we move to the finding and discussion that will be presented by me. So the analysis I took from the conversation in Avengers Endgame. So the first conversation or the first data is the conversation between Steve Rogers and Bruce Banner when Steve Rogers says, yeah, can you bring him back? Bruce Banner said and replied the questions by using I'm working on it. So the context of that conversations mean that Steve Rogers asked Bruce Banner to bring back Hawkeye from the time machine, and then he want Bruce Banner to do some things. So the utterance, so that locutionary act is the can you bring him back. From the utterance, Steve Rogers want Bruce to do something, and then for the locutionary act, based on the context, the utterance contains of direct interlocutionary, which means that the state can you bring him back or questions is classified into requesting. So in these conversations, Steve Rogers giving an utterance or meaning that he asked Bruce Banner to do something to make how I bring back to the place where they belong at that time. And then for the locutionary act, as expected by the speaker, is succeed because in these conversations, Bruce Banner said, I'm working on it. So the conversation is actually succeeded because the response of Bruce Banner is positive, while when he giving a reply like I'm working on it. So the second data is the conversation between Rodi and Natasha Romanoff when they want to take a stone from the planet, and then the conversation consists of like this. Rodi say that all that is really helpful and take care, okay? And then Natasha Romanoff replied with, yeah. This conversation occurred when Natasha and Hawkeye would be apart from Rodi and Nebula to pick up another stone from another planet, and then the utterance Rodi saw a locutionary act by saying, take care, okay? And from the utterance, we know that the utterance contained commissive illocutionary, which means commissive illocutionary, which said by Rodi by saying take care, okay, mean that the Natasha have to make a promise that they will be safety or being aware from everything that could be dangerous for them. And then for the locutionary act from the utterance is succeed because the hearer respond the utterance by saying yeah. The third data is the conversation between Tony Stark and Scott Lang, and these conversations happen in the headquarters, happens inside of the versions or the pastime. We could say that. And then when Tony Stark say do it like and pull my pin, the conversation occurred when Tony and Scott want to snatch a squid gas from other Tony from the pastime, and then Tony ordered Scott like to pull a pin from the Tony's heart, and by saying do it like and pull my pin, it was the locutionary act from Tony. And then from that utterance, we know that Tony used directive locutionary act by saying do it like and pull my pins. Mean that Tony wants Scott Lang to do the comments or the order. And then for the locutionary act that's sold by Scott Lang is succeed because the hearer respond or Scott Lang respond that by saying here goes. And then for the last data, the conversation between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers was in the headquarters of the pastime, while Tony Stark giving a description or describing something, while he said that alright cat, I got our scatter in the lavatory just passing the 80th floor. And then Steve Rogers applied with saying on it, head to the lobby. This conversation occurred when Steve was about to take suitcase from Stone from the people of Hydra. And then, by saying that, Steve Rogers know the meaning of the Tony's utterance by joining the Hydra in the lift. And then, for the illocutionary act, this conversation occurred also in the past. And the utterance was divided as the representative illocutionary act when Tony Stark want to Steve Rogers to understand he give such as describing things so that Steve can go to the lift to take the suitcase. And then for the perlocutionary act expected by the speaker is want Steve Rogers to go to the lift. That perlocutionary act succeeds because the hearer response is good and follow the speaker comments by saying on it, head to the lobby. So that's for the data analysis from the conversation that I got from Avengers Endgame. So next we move to the Q&A. So if you want to ask something to our group, just raise your hands. Alright, Fatriyah Nisa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Fatriyah Nisa. My question is, your analysis, especially in review of related literature, in illocutionary acts or speech acts that contain intent and speech power.
thank you very much for the question. And for the answer is, what is utterance power, or you say what tadi? Tadi apa?
Speak power.
Speech power. So speech power is something or utterance or the conversation or the illocutionary act when people have a meaning in that utterance to influence someone. So the speech power is, it means that your utterance or your words is want to understand by the hearer to do something which is, it could be an order or comments. Do you understand?
Yes.
So speech power bisa dikatakan seperti ini. Speech power itu adalah sebuah kata yang mengandung sebuah perintah untuk dapat menginfluence atau mempengaruhi pendengar untuk dapat melakukan sesuatu. Atau ketika kita, contohnya seperti ini, ketika kita memberikan sebuah perintah atau sebuah arahan. Jadi kita sebagai speaker memberikan sebuah perkataan atau utterance dalam bahasa Inggris untuk dimengerti oleh hearer atau pendengar, dan hearer tersebut dapat melakukan sesuatu seperti perkataan yang dikatakan oleh speaker.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Here, my name is Ahmad. I would like to ask about the explanation that I don't understand it now, especially about the different or the similarities between the locution, and collocution. And maybe you can explain the differences between the locution and collocution.
Alright.
And thank you.
Hello.
Alright, thank you very much for Natal's question. So let me give you the simple definitions or the simplest thing that you can difference between locution, and illocutions. So locutionary act means that some utterance or some statement that contains meaning. It doesn't have to be some order or comments kayak perintah, tidak. Tapi ketika kamu menyatakan sebuah statement atau opinion, itu merupakan locution. Jadi locution itu merupakan hal yang paling mudah dimengerti karena itu merupakan sebuah kata, sebuah kalimat. Untuk the locution, for the illocutions, the locutionary acts especially, these things contains of the meaning of the utterance. So, jika ada seorang yang mengatakan promise, aku berjanji akan melakukan sesuatu besok, itu merupakan sebuah janji. Dan ketika orang yang mendengar mengerti akan hal itu, mereka yang mengerti merupakan illocutionary act. Jadi di sini dapat dikatakan bahwa illocutionary act itu merupakan sebuah meaning dari sebuah kata tersebut dan yang bertujuan untuk dapat menginfluence, untuk dapat memberikan pengaruh terhadap pendengar, di mana pendengar mungkin nanti akan merespon dengan memahami hal tersebut atau melakukan sesuai dengan perkataan the speaker. For the illocutionary act itu adalah hasil dari illocutionary act itu sendiri. Jadi ketika illocutionary act itu sendiri sudah dimengerti dengan perkataan suatu hal dan dimengerti dengan illocutionary act, nantinya hasil dari conversation itu ketika the hearer melakukan suatu atau memberikan suatu, itu merupakan locutions. Jadi locution itu adalah hasil dari speech act, dari locution dan illocutions. Jadi mengerti? Yes. Thank you. So that's all from our presentations. If you find a mistake from our words or anything else, I beg your pardons. The last to say is Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.